This VOD was submitted by Toastahed, and it's mostly a gold Roadhog. He says he picks her at the beginning, and then switches off almost immediately, so we're going to actually just jump to when he switches.
I'm a one-man apocalypse. I'm a one-man apocalypse.
Choose Roadhog. Now, when you choose Roadhog, Roadhog is kind of a selfish pick. I don't mean that in a bad way or a good way. It's you have to know that you're not really a tank that supports your other tank. Like, if you picked Zarya, you could give Reinhardt a little reprieve by bubbling him so he can let his shield recharge, or if you're a diva, you get defense matrix. You know, as Roadhog, you really can't tank, at least tank for your other tank. You know, you'll tank a little bit because of your massive health, but by doing so, you're giving the other team ult charge. So it's not really tanking, unless just trading some tankiness for their ult charge instead of just tanking in general. So as Roadhog, you need to get value more out of you know, as like a DPS than a tank. So you got to understand like what you're doing and how you reduce the value of your main tank, but you have to make up for it with your play. So getting good hooks and stuff like that, that's kind of things you have to look for. Especially in this comp, you guys really have like no synergy. So just have to, you know, good value hook, worth the ult charge you're throwing out. And see here, like Roadhog, you're kind of, even though you have massive health, you have to know that by taking this damage, you're giving up ult charge to the enemy team. So you have the payload to hide behind, you have the Reinhardt shield behind, but you choose not to. Your hook will go through Reinhardt's shield, so you know, you don't have to be here. Like, there's no reason to be taking this damage. And if you see, you gave up almost 500 health for nothing. So you're acting like you're like a Zarya or something that has a bubble standing out in front. Your hook was on cooldown, so you weren't really doing anything. You gotta think that you are a DPS as Roadhog. You gotta kind of think in that sense. So you still need cover. You still need to hide behind your main tank. You can go on pretty good flanks and get a good hook pick and then come back, kind of like how, I don't know, like McCree maybe would, or a Tracer, but Tracer's more going to live in the back line. You don't want to live in their back line. So, alright, so you're taking yourself way out of this fight for too long. It's, so you're going for the flank up top, but there's a flank underneath if we go back. Like, so to the right over here, there's a little doorway that you can peek out of and hook. And probably hook a support, kill them, and you can retreat back to your team easily. You know, it's safe. Your healers can see you right there, so even if you do get bursted immediately, you can run away, and either you can take a breather or your healers can heal you. Up here, this took you forever, and plus you fell down, so it took you forever to get up there. And hooking from the top ground up is really tricky to get that one-shot kill. I don't expect you to be able to really do it at gold, so really, when you next time you're in on Rialto, go for that flank right there instead of the top. You know, go for the little door on the right instead of way up top.
Pass into the iris.
So, and then you jump down immediately. So you didn't even use the high ground as high ground. You literally added 6 seconds to your flank for no reason. You just do a hook in there. I say, like, with trans, the best target would have been like a squishy you could one shot, but if you just do a hook in, I don't think your target was really, you're trying to prioritize what target you were going to hit. I was good with the hog alt, not just because you got kills, getting kills is great, is that you stayed in cover there that time. This time you decided that you didn't want to just go out in the open. You kind of stayed back, let your ult do the work. You have good control over your ult, When I first got Roadhog, I could not control his ult. It kept going up and up, and I could not bring it down. So that's good. Yeah, so I kind of do this too, but I'm not good with Roadhog. But I can recognize when I do it. So you couldn't choose between which target to hit. Either one would have been fine. You could have easily, and you just kind of shot it right in between because your brain was thinking both of them were good targets, and so you threw a hook without actively thinking which one do I want to grab. Obviously, Zen is good because he's a support, but a soldier might have been easier because he was closer. So we're using the payload for cover a little better here. You got shot there, but where are you going? You kind of took yourself out of the fight there a little bit. I understand that you probably you were with the Mercy in the duo, so I guess maybe you wanted to give a fly target, but you didn't really give her much because she already had the Lucio taxiing her back. Your team is still fighting. You were taking damage the whole time. So feeding ult charge, and like I said, you just took yourself out of the fight. So that probably wasn't the best thing to do at that moment. Probably even better just to stay in the fight and help your team win, because you have the point. So, but Mercy just completely ignores total mayhem. Lucio wastes his beat. Like, you didn't really need to do that. The payload's right here. She would have had to walk this much distance to get a fly target. So, and you turned your back on the fight. But you're in the stagger phase again. Neither. So it was again not necessary, but also, I would have just been forward as Roadhog because people are running away right now from their old spawn to try to group up with their team, so you can easily hook one of them and stagger them even worse. So that's probably what you should have been doing, is going for that stagger. I don't want to berate you too much for being a fly target for your Mercy, because that's a good thing at times. But here it was really unnecessary. You gotta recognize like when right now you're staggering them, so you want to, especially with the hook and stuff, you want to be up there doing the damage. You're not going to be needing the heals right now. When you want to be a fly target for your Mercy is after you've, like, if you're on defense, let's say King's Row, and you've just beaten the enemy team, but they got your Mercy early in the fight, and now your Mercy's coming back, and they're going to be pushing hard in the next fight. Kind of wait at the gates and try to be a fly target for your Mercy there, because you want her back as soon as possible before they push in. But here, you're the one doing the aggression, so you kind of don't need the healing because you're not going to be in much danger. So see, like, if you were up here, you would have been helping this Ryan. This Ryan looks pretty much in trouble. And your Mercy would have been there just as fast, so... So you missed the hook on the big Roadhog, but you hit the hook on a tiny diva. So, I mean, bad hook, good hook, I would say. It's good to kill a diva when she's doing that, but she did get 2 kills, so that kind of sucks. So you wasted your ult here. You right here you can see that the diva got 2 kills. So this is just throwing away your ult. Mercy's still alive. You didn't focus her while she's rezzing the Roadhog. You're shooting at this soldier, I guess. Yeah. So you should have just died there anyway. Or jumped off into the river.
Group up! Group up with me!
It's good you guys recognize you want to group up. And Reinhardt just throws himself anyway at it. And your Lucio's like, group up, and then speeds away. I guess he's getting frustrated at that Reinhardt. But yeah, you guys need to group up here and push, because this choke can be deadly, especially with a Junkrat or Roadhog. And a Zen, so as you guys stagger out this choke with a Zen discording you and then spam coming in all over, you're just gonna melt before you even make it over the bridge. So you guys need to stay out of sight, just group up. I'm astounded that they did not shoot at you yet, really, coming this far. So you hook, and it saves that Lucio, but I doubt you tried to do that. You wanted to probably go up with your Orisa, mostly, because I don't know why they didn't shoot at you. I guess your teammates didn't know what So if you really want to know what you did that fight to win, you did nothing, obviously. This Junkrat did basically everything. You just fed ult charge. And maybe saved this Lucio's life. So you could have easily done everything you did there behind this Orisa shield. As Roadhog, you really gotta think how much ult charge you're feeding to the enemy team, because that's how you tank. At times you do have to use that to tank for someone, squishy or something like that, but you really don't want to be doing that. You gotta try to minimize that as much as possible.
Let's group up here!
So it looks like, I don't know if you didn't know what to do there or just pushing the payload, but as Roadhog, I don't know if, I mean, the Mercy could have easily been standing on the payload and healing, so I'd be moving up, trying to use this wall for cover and get some good hooks to make them stagger more. Use your Orisa shield because you're getting no value. Your hook can be game winning or fight winning, and this Mercy should be on the payload, just healing right there. This Lucy doesn't need to be this far up either. So I guess, I don't know if you thought, alright, no one's pushing the payload, I need to push the payload, but just go up here. I was like on this right here, because they're still in stagger phase, like the enemy team. It just didn't look like you really knew what you're doing there. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna go over there. So now you're going to attack this Roadhog because he's way out of position. So that's, yeah, audio cues. Those to your left, back left.
Someone get that payload moving.
Okay, so you didn't fall back far enough. You obviously recognized that you needed to fall back because you lost the fight, but then you just stood there and they came after you. Yes, you know, like you had 600 health and you still had to take a breather, but you know, you obviously staggered yourself. You have no real damage mitigation besides taking that breather, and then you're screwed. It's unlikely that you have gotten a one-shot kill on a tank that was going to come for you, so it would have just gone back over the bridge. You also put your Mercy at danger because you made her fly to you, and they had a Roadhog that could have hooked her, and it was just too dangerous. Once you saw they were coming still for you, I would have just backed off all the way over the bridge, and then regrouped with your Orisa.
Group up with me.
This is not your time.
Now you're down 2. This is dumb. Should kill her. So you're not in chat at all. And this is where it kind of bit you in the butt to not be in chat. As you can see right here. So you're shooting her. Fine, you're pocketed, so you're not any danger, but if, let's say, you know, if Orisa's in chat, you can easily say Orisa to your right, Brig low, and she can shoot her in the back. And then this Orisa either has to choose to either be shot by you or shot by Orisa. She's dead. She has 2 bars. She has 100 health. Easily killed by either one of you. But she gets out and lives. So it looks like you got super focused on that Brig, though. On the one hand, it's great in the sense that they are down. You know she's low, but you just passed up tons of things. I don't know if this will normally happen to you if you get if I don't think you're paying attention to the kill feed. You did get 3, so I don't think you would have noticed that. I don't think you noticed that, and you still would have done this if they had 6. This would have killed you if they had 6. Alright, so you do it again. You're super focused on one target that you left cover and put your back to the entire enemy team. You're about to get melted right now. So you got discorded, you got the Zen shooting you, you got the soldier shooting you, got Junkrat in your face, and you exposed yourself for no reason. You could have still shot that Junkrat from behind that Orisa shield. So this would have been a tough fight to win, but if you'd stayed in cover, you would still be providing value. And this right now with your death, this is pretty much a lost fight unless Orisa gets a shield up quickly. No. So I hate saying like things are like your fault that you lost, or because it's a whole team. The whole team made mistakes, and Mercy just was way too far forward. But if you're looking for your mistake that lost the fight, that right there. If you stayed alive, you could have provided more value and helped win the fight. You could have swung the tide in that fight, because I think it was about even with you alive, the Orisa, the Bastion, that Reaper's coming back. You would have had no heals, so you need to be probably the more aggressive one. But again, with the Reaper, you and Bastion, you all have stealth sustain. All the Orisa needs to do is make sure that you guys have a shield to stay behind.
Up here.
10 seconds.
Take up the pace. We can do this.
They have spawn advantage, so it's very unlikely that you do anything.
Thank you.
Down.
Switching sides. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
It's basically your positioning is what is hurting you with Roadhog, especially because it's you can easily see yourself die and get hurt and stuff. But you also know that when you die and get hurt, you're feeding ult charge to the enemy team. You are an ult battery as Roadhog to the enemy team, and you need to try to minimize that as much as possible. You know, sometimes you have to, but when you're feeding ult charge to the enemy team, you're doing something. You're trading it. You're trading it for a good hook on them. You're trading it for
Attackers in
positioning and stuff like that. Well, Roadhog's hard to take position again because he's not a tank, and he's only dangerous if within like hook range. And once he uses hook, he's not really that scary. You don't have a main tank here, and this is going to be really tough. So one, without a main tank staying at this front part is going to be really difficult because they can just shoot you from spawn. They have a lot of cover, and it's just not gonna be a good time. It'd be better just to wait around the corner and make them come in close to you guys before engaging. But this hook was actually pretty nice. It's a good contrast to that one where you couldn't choose between the soldier and the Zen. So it's just you took your time and you focused and you hit the hook. Now, obviously it breaks because she broke line of sight with you, but it was a really good hook mechanics right there. Like, it will get faster and faster the more you practice like that. But choosing a hook target and going for it and aiming it well was really nice. You didn't do that a lot in this game, but right there, that's how you should be probably doing hooks. And it'll be slow at first, but it will go faster and faster the more you do it, and it'll become second nature. You guys are just tanking damage in the face. He's got a second lease on life, but that's it. No more second lease on lives. You guys are just feeding so much ult charge. They don't have a main tank either. So this is deathmatch, basically. You guys are just playing deathmatch and seeing what team can play it better. So this is a lost fight. You guys lost 2 or 3 already, so I would have just been dying on the payload. Just calling to die on the payload to stall it out so we can get another fight before it gets second. Because if you fall back and they get staggered, you guys are probably just going to lose the entire point. Yeah, so Bastion is going to die on cart. You should die with him on cart. guys are just staggering yourself. You guys are just fighting 2v6 like the entire time. I mean, you got a kill, so. But you're still down. You're still down. Lucio fed himself again. And you guys are just taking so much damage. Yeah, this was not a good time to do this at all. Because, well, one, you don't have a main tank, so you don't even have, like, this. You're just feeding yourself. Look how many people are shooting at you. You're gonna die. Now at this halfway point, I mean, you will probably get back before the payload gets second point, but our first point. But I mean, based on what your team's doing, you're just trickling. So you guys are stalling it, but you aren't ever gonna win a fight. You're just kind of making it slower.
Visor activated.
But Gold and Bastion just fucking melts everyone, apparently. Okay. Don't, just because you guys won that, don't think that was at all, like, you didn't do anything to make sure that it was the Bastion that did something. You guys were trickling so hard. Again, I don't know exactly what happened, but you guys won, but don't think your play had anything to do with it. You fed yourself way later than you should have. Died on the payload. You guys didn't group up. Just happened that Bastion won his deathmatch game. And you were on his team. And you benefited. Something was happening in your back line. Was that? No. So yeah, it's just deathmatch, and this time Junkrat won with a little help of Soldier. So I really don't know how to say. You can't really work as a team because your team isn't working as a team, but you could position yourself better. That's the only thing I could say to win your deathmatch, I guess. You were way off to the left again, and there's no cover over there. Again, you're not really a tank. You're a DPS with lots of health. So you can just like stay in this little room to the right of the payload, because they're gonna have to push up to push the payload, and then you can pop out and hook their supports while they're pushing up. You don't need to be this far out in the open, because you're either gonna feed ult charge, or just completely feed your life and not do much. I don't know why you passed up that Zen. Maybe you didn't feel like you could. Again, it was good. Taking the flank was good. And choosing a target well, because once you throw that hook, they all know you're there. So that's why you need to hit your first shot. Flanking, you need to hit your first shot, because that's all you're going to get. That's all you're really going to have against good teams. So it was good that you were trying to choose the target and choose it, but I don't know why you passed up the Zen. Let's try to take another look. You passed up the Zen. Maybe because you saw the Brig and you thought you were already spotted. Or maybe you just really hate Brig, because you have focused her quite a bit. But it's really going to be hard with her armor for you to one-shot her. And then once her stun is done, she can stun you, push you away. It's gonna be really hard. This is a harder one to hook and take out than that Zen. That Zen would have been super easy. But it's good that you recognize you only got one hook and you backed off. So overall,
Enemy
it's good.
contact.
Good idea. Keep doing things like that. That'll help you a lot. I feel like the audio is, that's what it is. That the audio flipped somehow. My headsets are on, right? If anyone else is listening, like, that res sounded like it was coming from the right. The Junkrat tire sounded like it was coming up from behind. I feel like the audio is like screwed up.
Did someone call a doctor?
So, at this point in time, in general, as whatever character I'm playing, with 30 seconds left, I'm thinking, how do we win this? Because right now, next fight is last fight, which means they're going to be using every single ult they have. Because if they don't, and they lose, then why didn't they use it? So I don't think you're thinking that at all. I don't think you're thinking, what ult do they have? You just use Soldier ult and completely wipe them. I heard Dragon Strike, so that's gone. But they probably have Bomb. They probably have Trans. They probably don't have Tire, but Tire does charge really fast, so I'd be wary about that. And I don't know who else they have, but like right now I'd be bringing up the player screen. I'd be getting in position, so this is totally not in position, whatever this area is. I'd be either hanging out by that courtyard, try to get another flank like that again, and try to pick off that Zen before you can use Trans, or hide in that little cubby I told you about before near the payload. But right now you're just standing out in the open, and this next fight's coming. It's last fight, and if you win this, you win the game. So this fight is very important, and you're not really treating it as it is.
30 seconds remaining.
Heroes never die.
Became super chaotic, and it looked like the biggest thing on your mind was not to let that payload move an inch. But they only get extra time once it hits here, once it hits the checkpoint. So you had quite a few meters to give up before you had to be on the payload. So the only problem I have really with this, besides the other thing I talked about, not getting really into position or worrying about what else they have, is that you just focus too much on stalling the payload when all you had to do, you could have given up payload movement to like reposition yourselves, get yourselves in a better location to win the fight, I guess, and get this respawns that you needed to again win, because overtime doesn't end until it hits that checkpoint. So I would have just backed off a little bit and given them some movement. You gotta be able to recognize that you can give up payload distance because giving up payload distance doesn't mean anything right now. The checkpoint means everything, so it's the checkpoint and winning this fight. And if you give up payload distance a little bit to win this fight, then you win the game. But now you guys are just gonna trickle because you guys hear overtime, and you guys don't want any movement at all. that Hanzo definitely has Dragon Strike again. He just killed like everyone. Just group up. So let's get the U recognize that. I can see why you know, this guy said he platinum. You can see why. Especially in this last fight, even though he lost, he was doing the right thing. So as long as he gets teammates that can listen to him, he'll climb them. Besides anything else I said, stuff right here, he hasn't died at all. He hasn't died at all his life. And all he wants is his team to group up so he can have a fight. And I sympathize with you. At times that's happened many times. It's like, guys, group up and fight. I mean, there's not much you can do. There's not much you can do. You're gonna have games like this, and it's gonna happen. Just go next game. The only problem that you have is that you're not in game chat. At least I don't see it. So you can't be also talking. Yeah, you're spamming group up, but you need to communicate with your team, because group up can also just mean like group up on the payload or something like that. Like, be like, guys, don't show yourself, guys. Just fall back. We need to group up as a team to have a team fight. The only advice I can give you to maybe make this better is be a main tank, because you guys really needed that. You didn't need another DPS kind of tank. Overall, I can see why you got the plat, because you understand the game better than what your teammates could. So your hooks just focused a little better. Times when you did focus, you hit them greatly, and then at other times you just threw them out there hoping to get a hook, and those were the questionable ones. So just focus on your hooks and your positioning. Good positioning can make you survive so much damage, and bad positioning can get you killed instantly. So that was your biggest problem, because that was your mistake in that fight that made you guys stop there. It was your mistake for losing the first point. So good luck.